congratulating you for The Gateway. That did come out and premiered September 3rd, so I'm a little late at the game over here.
No, better late than never. I mean, I think we're still getting the word out, and it's one of these things that's rolling out in a lot of different cities, so it takes a while for everyone to get to know about it. But thank you so much for the congratulations.
Yes, of course. And also, I mean, we can't move forward without discussing the cast. What a cast!
Yeah, we got real lucky on this one. I was so fortunate just to have so many amazing actors of so many different generations all playing together.
But how did you get everyone like someone that we all admire, Mr. Bruce Dern?
Oh yeah, I mean Bruce is one of my favorite actors of all time, and I've grown up over the years watching so many of his old films from the '70s. I'm a big fan of like new American cinema, so the BBS stuff he did, like King of Marvin Gardens, and it was just such a treat to be able to write a character for someone in mind and have it actually work out that he hopped on board. And it was just such a lesson working with someone like that, in the sense that you really kind of get an understanding of an actor's approach from a different generation and what they bring to it, because he really is kind of like an old hippie punk at heart.
The little one, well, she's not so little, who played Ashley, she won our heart.
Taegen Burns, she's an extraordinary young actor.
She stole our hearts for sure. In this story where she's the one that's trying to figure out how to survive the chaos around her.
Yeah, it's a complicated world for a child to be enmeshed in, especially as an actor, because they have to develop a certain type of trust and faith in the surroundings of everybody else who they're working with. Because some of that stuff dramatically is not easy to go through. But what was so extraordinary is just to watch what she grew to become throughout the process of making the film. Like you actually just saw her developing as an actor, on a daily, weekly basis. Mm-hmm. I expect a lot of amazing stuff coming from her someday.
I agree. And you were one of the co-writers, correct? And you directed the film.
That's correct, yeah.
So how do you work with two other people in co-writing the story?
As little as possible. So I was given the script, I guess it had been written in kind of architectural form, I guess, probably a few years prior. And my producing partner, Andrew Levitas, had basically optioned the material, and he said, listen, if we go to work on it and it gets to some place that is a little more fleshed out, that has kind of greater nuance and detail, it's something that we can go make. Like, we have the financing together. And so the initial incarnation of the script, while very proficient in working like more of an inner city crime thriller, I like to think that I created something that's more of a neo-noir, so it added a lot of complexity, a bunch of different characters who went there, a much more nuanced backstory. So it was a total team effort. Like, we could have never done this without the initial script, because the idea of a social worker in this world, all that was in there, and it was really pretty brilliantly laid out.
Mm-hmm. And as you're writing it together, what was one of the scenes that you really looked forward to shooting?
One of the scenes, I mean, to be honest, the stuff with Dern, I was so excited to dig into the dramatic stuff with him and Shea, just to try and understand this relationship that's kind of unreconciled and that whole redemptive aspect of the movie. And, I don't like guns. I particularly don't like the NRA or any of that kind of business that, kind of adds to what's going on in this country at this point. But I do have to say they're very fun to have on sets and be shooting around. That's
somewhere that you said the film to take place in St. Louis was like a metaphor for the Crossroads of America story today. Can you tell us about that?
Well, my feeling was that the story is ubiquitous in the sense that it was actually originally written, Nancy, in the first incarnation as being Chi-Town, like in Chicago. And in looking to transpose it someplace else, it was pretty clear you could tell the story in New York, you could tell it in pockets of Los Angeles or Texas. I chose the gateway city, which is St. Louis, specifically because it was a place of transport, like kind of connected the East and the West during the Industrial Revolution period. And I kind of feel like a lot of these cities have fallen, on hard times in this new era of time, like whether it's in Detroit. And so ultimately, the idea of what drug trafficking meant in this story seemed like it was kind of a new configuration of how these cities are still functioning as like pipelines of travel and commerce. However, their havoc is being wreaked on them, and the fallout is everywhere, whether it's drugs or the implications with children, and simultaneously, obviously the border immigration politics as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time and talking about the film. And I enjoyed the film. You had me in suspense the whole time. And I mean, with such a great cast, what else could we have expected, right?
I'm so happy to hear that. Where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm in LA, Los Angeles.
Cool. I was just there this weekend.
Oh, great. So yeah.
Enjoy the sunshine, and thank you so much for taking the time.
You too. Thank you. You take care.
All right. Have a good one.